يا رب إنك مقصودي ومعتمدي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Carry on, inshallah. This was not objecting to student reciting with others, this the section that we stopped at, and the author here brought some points, for the problems, with this. And he considered this as a lack of desire to teach for the sake of the noble pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When anyone has this feeling that when he feel bad when someone go to another teacher. And he said he should say to himself, I sought Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obedience by teaching, and it has thus been achieved. Yeah, for sure, if he has a pure intention, he is going to be rewarded, even if all of his students, they are gone away, So an increase in knowledge by reciting with someone else, and he should not censure the student. And then he narrated from Musnad al-Darimi that Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu said, O bearers of knowledge, act according to your knowledge, since the scholar is the one who acts according to what he learned and whose knowledge corresponds to his action. I think this is the best definition of Rabbaniyin. When you recite in Qur'an Rabbaniyun, this is the definition of it, what's mentioned by Sayyidina Ali here. There will be a group who possesses knowledge that does not go beyond their color bonds. Their action contradicts their knowledge. Their inward state contradicts their outward. So he spoke about their behavior. The action is completely different than the theory that they have, the theology they have, and spoke again, which we mentioned before, about the inward and the outward. They sit in circles, vying with one another until a man becomes angry with the one he sits with, and so he sits with someone else, leaving the other behind. Their action in these assemblies of theirs do not ascend to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Generally speaking, what I understood from this quotation, the principle. Okay, you should be a man of principle, which is, I hardly find it nowadays. Most of us, perhaps including myself, we go according to our interests. We change our matters, we change our friend, we change everything, according to the interest, period. Whereas the old people, they will go by their principle. If you have done something bad to me, let's assume, and I know you very well, that you have been one of the best person, you are a real friend. Even the bad behavior from your side, I should relate it to my experience with you. I should stick to my principle in it, I'm not a child, when you smile at me, I'm going to love you at all, and when you frown at me, I'm going to hate you a lot, No, you should be more reasonable, You should judge the others according to the standard, according to the principle that you have in your mind. And by this, really we need it a lot. One day, a student of Imam Shafi'i, Rabi', famous student of Imam Shafi'i, the Imam Shafi'i was sick, and he make dua to Imam Shafi'i when he saw him sick. You know, he loves him a lot. He loves Imam Shafi'i a lot. He made dua, may Allah subhanahu qawwa Allahu da'afak. May Allah strengthen your weakness. And Imam Shafi'i, to make joke or have fun with that person, he said, if my weakness is going to be strengthened, it's going to kill me. And he took the literal meaning of it. And, oh my God, he said, Rabbi, I did not mean it, you know. I meant a very good intention, you know. And here the point comes, this quotation from Imam Shafi'i, when he said, if you are going to curse me, I'm quite sure that you are making dua for me. You see, yani here, as if Imam Shafi'i telling his student or this person that he experienced his love. I'm not going to judge you according to one behavior or according to one statement or according to this or that. I'm going to build my idea about you, about what do I know. Okay, and this is one of the major difference between the adult and the child. The child is going to change his position, you know, many times, you know, in one setting and or one sitting, you know, according to the behavior that you have with him. Okay, to show that he loves you and he hates you, he may change it, you know, change that channel, you know, many times in one sitting, you know, according to your behavior with him, you know. Whereas when we act as such, we are childish. Okay, that means we are not immature. We are really deceived, you know, by the apparent, you know, all the time. And this is our problem nowadays. So here, Sayyidina Ali, what they trying to say, that he will sit with some people, and whenever there is anything, you know, negative or whatever, is going to just drop them, you know, and go to another one, you know, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, here you don't, to start with, you don't choose your people, you don't choose your friends, you know, only because they praise you or they gave you some money or they keep inviting you or this or that. No, you should choose them upon how do you think about these people. Would you like to meet them in the hereafter? The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalilih." Would we like to be having the religion of that person? Would we like to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you join to them? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about the hereafter. People of heaven and people of hellfire, both of them, they are going to be gathered as groups. Zumar, we call it in Arabic Zumar, groups. Surah al-Zumar. Okay, how they Zumar, they are going, these groups, according to what you look. How do you look to? How do you think about the other person? You know, it's not a matter of giving you a candy or this or that. It's much deeper matter, you know, than this. No. Then he narrated from Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, I hope that people learn this knowledge, meanings, his knowledge and books, with the condition that they not attribute a single letter of it to me. Here Imam Shafi'i for sure teach us about the pure intention. Your intention, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted you with this sacred knowledge or Qur'an or whatever, that you will be eager, you know, to make everyone knowledgeable, you know, of whatever you get this knowledge. And the Prophet, the Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah here, he gave his desire. It's not a matter of fame or being famous or being the teacher or the high figure. What I am concerned about, to deliver this knowledge to everyone. And even if it came through me, I would like, this is his statement, you know, I would like to have people, you know, well familiar with it, you know, without relating it to me. By this, I'm not going to lose anything. And this is really, I found it a fine scale, you know, to judge yourself. Do you really care about yourself, or do you care about knowledge, you know, in general? molded by good qualities. Okay, and here some of the qualities of the teacher or the scholar, that he should match what has been mentioned, in the revelation. They include abstinence in this word, thinking little of it. I'm sorry to tell you, I am that old. Perhaps I never, or perhaps for a few times, perhaps I may count them, on one hand, the times that I listen to khutbah Jumu'ah or to dars given for abstinence. For me, this is not a good sign at all. Even on the other hand, I have heard a lot of durus, lot of khutab Jum'ah which goes against abstinence. To tell us that this is من حرم زينة الله, they are going to abuse this verse. قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده. They are going to abuse it, just to show that abstinence is not a matter, that we should have. You see, here Imam al-Nawawi, he put it at first. And this is for sure, for all matters that we have discussed today and before, is going to ease it up for us. When I don't have abstinence, it's too hard for me, to not have a big deal, when my student move to another person, when I'm put down by someone, when I condemned by someone like this. If I don't have this character, of abstinence, of not caring a lot, about this word, I'm going to have it great in my heart, and by building it great in my heart, anything which goes against it is going to make me feel bad about it, no doubt about it. Regardless of what I speak about it, I'm going to feel really bad about it. So here, perhaps I'm not the best person, to speak about abstinence, but really, almost in all of my life, I feel the need of speaking about it, the need of raising up this issue, and really I feel bad because I don't find a lot of speakers who don't speak about it. I would rather encourage my people, usually, I told them, we should, all of us, including myself, every once in a while, I'm sorry, perhaps I did not practice it, but we should practice it. At least we should go every once in a while to the book of the author, Imam al-Nawawi, Riyadh al-Salihin, and open the chapter of the life of the Prophet ﷺ, how he used to live, I look forward, to reread that chapter at least once every 2 months at least. Because I tend to forget what I have read. And this is going to affect me strongly, that really I am a bad person. I don't have this character inside myself, about abstinence. Okay, here I look at it as real need of common Muslims all over the world. And on the other hand, we don't have these pure resources, to speak about it. Okay, so this is, even though the author, with full respect, he did put it, among those scholars, of Qur'an, but I would like to expand this idea for all of us. Really, a real need, of knowing much and practicing much, about our abstinence. We are lost here. And perhaps, perhaps that's why we hate each other. We dislike each other. We have problems. A lot of divorces, a lot of checking out of the house, a lot of family break, because the Prophet ﷺ said, whenever you are absent, in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to love you. And whenever you are absent of the others, belonging or possession, the other, they are going to love you. And I look at it from the opposite way, and when and I don't like to use this word, when I see the hatred, all over the place, and even among the same family, I look at at ourselves, as we are full of desires, we are completely opposite, of being absent of the others, belonging, and that's why perhaps we don't love each other. Or if you want to put it in more scientific way, because all of us, we have some certain interest, my interest is different than yours, different than the others, okay? And when my interests go with yours, we are going to be real friend and real lovers of each other. When it goes against it, I'm going to change completely. And this doesn't sound good at all. Okay, so this is one way of getting along with each other. Love each other, help each other to be absent, of this life. Thinking little of it. Why? Otherwise, they will criticize you. You are lousy, you waste your family or whatever. You should think a little bit, about it, just to cover yourself. And lacking concern for it and its worldly people. You see, ignorance of the world and the see this phrase I like, worldly people, those people of Dunya. And this is, to overcome this problem, you should have generosity, open-handedness, noble character, and a cheerful face, but without becoming immodest. Okay? Yani, as you may see, all characters, you have the two extremes and the moderate way. And whenever you go by the moderate way, you are going to be good one, Whenever you try to deviate or be extreme, about it, you are not going to be as such. The exception, what exception you have to this? Love, okay? You may love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the extreme. There is no problem there. You may love the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the extreme. No limit here, okay? And this is the only exception I find in the characters, Otherwise, even worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you do it excessively, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam condemned it. He said, but I wake up and sleep overnight, I fast and break fast, and I get married to women. So whoever did not like or stay away of my tradition doesn't belong to me. Okay, this is the tradition. Okay, and here, even worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you shouldn't be extreme in it. You should be extreme in your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, extreme in your love to your religion, your Qur'an, your Prophet, okay? But being extreme in practice or certain other characters, as the author he mentioned here, you should have all of those matter in reasonable way or moderate way. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. One of the meaning of wasat, to be moderate. They include discernment, self-control, and being above vile acquisition. Okay? And here you should have some regulation, not because you should be respected. And when he said above acquisition, that's mean not when someone accuses you, you say you are liar. No. In your behavior, in your day-to-day practice, you try to make everything clear, not to let anyone have any doubt about any matters. And our master in this, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One day he was in i'tikaf, and his wife Sayyidah Safiya came to visit him. And when she wants to return back home, the holy houses or rooms, of the wives, they were surrounding the mosque. And the most far one, according to the sketch that I did see, is the house of Sayyidah Safiya. And the Prophet ﷺ went back with her to return home, and this was in the darkness, and two of the Ansar, they did recognize the Prophet ﷺ from far, and they start walking quickly, and he called them, the Prophet ﷺ called them, this is the woman with me is Safiya, this is my wife. You see, and here, not to have anyone speaking badly. The Prophet was with a woman, in the darkness. No, he called them, this is Safiya. And this should be our behavior. We are not beyond accusation, when I have done something bad and you should ask me about it. No, I shouldn't put myself, or not myself, the one who is scholar, or the one who is teacher of Quran or whatever, shouldn't put himself, in a position that he may be accused of some of these matters. No. They include adhering to scrupulous humility, tranquility, dignity, modesty, submission, and avoiding laughter and frequent play. Okay, and here you should have certain regulation of making the respect, and this respect not for yourself, this is the respect of the setting. Okay, if you do not show the respect to the setting, the student, they are going to misbehave. So you should be what you call in Urdu jalali, or little bit having some of those matters that has been mentioned by the author rahimahullah ta'ala, not for the sake of putting yourself up. Not the point here is not to make yourself respected, by the other. You don't care about yourself. You show this respect to the Holy Quran. And this has been initiated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He said, وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنِ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا. Okay, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it a must. Okay, you should show your respect to the recitation of the Quran. He said قُرِئَ. He did not say قَرَأَ so and so. Even if it said قَرَأَ al-Quran, you put in mind the reciter. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bypass even the reciter. Quri al-Quran. Because there is Quran has been recited. And our scholars also, they said about al-Hadith al-Nabawi Sharif. Those instructions at the beginning of Surah Al-Hujurat, لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله. Don't show your opinion in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't raise your voice up. Keep your head down, and you name it. They said whenever the Hadith al-Nabawi Sharif is read, you should show the same respect. So all of these matters may be understood by lousy person like me as to be respected, and I should show, even though I spend all of my time, playing, joking, and laughing, and here I'm going to show myself, as high figure. No, this is not the case, and this may be wrong. Okay, you should have some of it to make everyone, to dictate on the environment, that we are at. To dictate on it the respect of the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, firstly, as mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf, and whenever you teach Quran, and this is going to be called Dars al-Quran. This is the sitting of the Quran, and whenever you relate it to Quran, and we should be sincere, about it. That's mean myself is out, the student is out, and the teacher is out. Everyone is out, and this is only Quran. I think anything belong to Quran should be in presence. Anything doesn't belong to Quran, it should be out. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ told us about the reward, that whenever people they gather to make Qur'an, the mercy is going to descend and sakina is going to come. You see, sakina, to have I may summarize all of these points mentioned by the author rahimahullah ta'ala by saying sakina. Okay, sakina, when you don't have jerky movement, when you don't have a lot of laughter, when you don't have many of those matters, this is part of the sakina, part of being moderate. Okay, and when the Prophet ﷺ told us that it's going to come, the sakina is going to come, mercy is going to descend, we are going to be surrounded by the angels. I think it's not a good idea at all, being in this position or in this setting, and we don't live it, we don't feel it, we don't practice it, okay? And this should be well done. I look at it, I don't know how accurate this look, Anything you do, I look at it as your trial, or you are training yourself, for the hereafter. Inshallah, all of us will be people of paradise, okay? But people of paradise, they are not equal. Some of them, they'll spend most of their time, riding horses. The other, most of their time, eating. The third, most of the time, enjoying your time. The third, sitting with Allah, or sitting with the Prophet. If you are going to sit with Allah, you don't like yourself, you don't like, to sit with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this, jerky movement, and laughter all the time or whatever, That's why you should have certain setting, And that's why this is perhaps one of the wisdom behind it, We have Jumu'ah as an obligation. And in Jumu'ah, all of us, we are instructed to calm, be quiet, okay? Even the extra movement, you don't know, though you don't do it. Even you don't pray. You have the rest of the day, for prayer. Now it's not time for prayer. It's time of confining yourself, to whatever you are practicing. And the Prophet ﷺ in hadith, he matched al-Jumu'ah with the setting of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the hereafter. Okay, so that's why all those matters mentioned by the author, it's not a matter of showing myself that I am a moderate person, or I'm polite person, or I don't laugh a lot, or I should frown at you, or this or that. No, this is just to have the majesty, the jalal of the Qur'an occupy the environment of it. Then, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives permission, different story. That's why the A'rabi, the Bedouin person, he said, when the Prophet said in one hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala laughed and so, he said, then we are not going to lose the khair, the good from a Lord who laughed at us, And by this, it tells us, that we have been given the permission, to have some of those movements, Okay? Similarly, and this should be understood to all of us. And I see myself, nowadays, we have a lot of masks. We pretend in front of the other that we are serious person, with serious personality and character and whatever, and when we go out, we have completely the opposite. That one is wrong and this one is wrong. Okay, be your nature first. Okay, show some respect. Okay, whenever it comes to have something, of this, you should that. Even among the companion of the Prophet ﷺ, there's one companion to make the Prophet ﷺ laugh. Nu'ayman. This is a task given, and I see it. It's not physically done this way, but I see it as a task given to one person, to moisten, to humidify, the environment, because the companion has been instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were really good practitioner of it, to keep the sitting, the majlis of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the most, the highest, top of those sakina and other things, and this person, subhanallah, he just come, to moisten and humidify and make some room, here of relief. And this is, I look at it as narrated by, I think, Abu Darda and Sayyidina Ali and other, روح القلوب ساعة فساعة. Okay, يعني you should have your heart awake and in the ready state, for all of these matters. But sometimes you should have relaxed heart. You should have some of laughter. You should have some of those jokes. You should have some of the fun, and all of those matters you may go and find it, in the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ. So the collection that has been mentioned here, they are precisely right, and this is match what the Prophet ﷺ told us about the surrounding. When we are surrounded by the angels and the mercy and the sakina, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to mention those people who gathered to speak, to recite Qur'an or whatever, okay? But put in mind the other things, and this is the matter. Yani, I look at it as medication. If anyone is going to use drugs all the time, not the drugs, the street drugs, use medication, all the time, it's going to be sick, You need some medication sometimes, okay? And you look at those moistening matters, or to humidify the environment, you need them as treatment, as medication sometimes, or as a drug sometimes, okay? You may need it, You keep yourself always in the full alert, full readiness, and you may have those other matters, occasionally. And for sure, this is not to be respected. Even anyone, the sheikh, the student, anyone, he should have the most occupation in his heart to Allah and the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why we should show this majesty, on because as many people, they said, the word of Allah is a majestic one. Okay, Jalal, there's Jalal. And they include the other, the first item to be used in the sitting of the Qur'an. The second group that the author mentioned, this should be the character of the teacher. What are they? Adhering to religious tasks. Okay? Not good, to have a person, who sit, and teach people Qur'an, and he doesn't adhere himself to the teaching of the Qur'an. Doesn't make a lot of... He give bad message. Okay? Your people, you should work according to me. What does this mean? Make yourself teacher of Qur'an and don't listen to any portion in the Qur'an. This doesn't make a good example or good model of it. Such as cleanliness, removing filth, and heard that the legislation mentions removing, trimming the mustache, trimming the nails, and combing the beard, and removing offensive smell and offensive clothing. He speak here about other instruction for the sitting. I thought this for the in general speaking, but this is for the sitting itself, as from where do you get this, from what we have been instructed by the Prophet ﷺ when we joined the Jumu'ah, what to do. Okay, and since you have religious gathering, when you have this sitting of the Qur'an, as the Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, al-malaika, the angels, they get hurted of the same thing. Human being get hurted of the foul smell, the long hair, the long nails, and you name it. Okay, so here, if you look forward to have your majlis, joined by the angels, you should prepare the environment for this. And the Prophet ﷺ told us about it, that the angels are going to be hurted of whatever humankind is hurted of. And by this we should have our preparation. We don't have in our hand to make the angels come. This is not this is beyond our limit, okay? But what is in our hand to prepare ourselves to have our majlis granted by having angels or having the sakina or having the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, then he mentioned some of these characters that I thought this was in the previous paragraph. He said about envy, showing off, pride, and thinking little of the others, even beneath him. Why did he specify these in particular? And you have many of other bad characters. Why these they were mentioned? Imam Nawawi is an expert. Okay? And he is a scholar. And he is a doctor or physician. He knows the problems. Okay? And these are the major diseases among the shuyukh, among the teachers. Okay, that's why they have been highlighted. Don't think for one moment that he put them here just to avoid this and don't care, about the others. No, but because these problems, these diseases, illnesses, these are the major problem that many of us will get sick, or ill by it, Not, even the higher rank, the shuyukh and the other, they may have illness, or sickness, of envy, of putting the other down, and you name it, of those matters. So anyone who is involved, in these matters, he should have special attention to these illnesses, has been mentioned by Imam Al-Nawawi, Jazahullah Ta'ala anna khair al-jaza. Invocations and supplications. The teacher should implement the hadiths that were related concerning saying Subhanallah, La ilaha illallah, and other azkar and supplication. The teacher should be constantly conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when alone and when in public, and his reliance in all of his affairs should be upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here speaking about something more sophisticated, speaking about the heart relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those, they are going to be the most, excellent teachers, of the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who have this reliance, this unique relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here, they titled it in Arabic, Akhlaq al-Qulub, the characters of the heart. You see, you have some good and bad characters of your tongue. You have good and bad character of your hand, and you name it. And it's in same pattern, you have good and bad character of the heart. You may consider the one mentioned in the previous paragraph, as the bad characters, of the heart, envy, put the other down, and you name it, and what has been mentioned here, to have this sophisticated, this unique relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this all gained from your knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They call it in Arabic, ma'rifatullah, al-arifu billah. Okay, again I complain, perhaps I'm not good person, that's why I don't see a lot, but in my experience, I don't see a lot of people of knowledgeable in Allah or speaking about knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which in this paragraph, really I admire Imam Nawawi a lot, because he put it as an item here of the characters of the teacher of Qur'an. He should have his heart, occupied completely by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's going to illuminate this to the others by keeping dhikr, subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, and other matters, of this regard. Being kind and accommodating, as you may see, this is maybe a little bit difficult with the previous one of being jalali, okay? And this is, make it more difficult, how you are going to combine the opposites, And this is your task, to do it. Okay? Because you don't want people, to hate Qur'an. You don't want people to run away of majlis of Qur'an. And in the meanwhile, you don't want to disrespect, the Qur'an or show any this of this. That's why you should be soft. You should be kind. You should be what we call ya'laf. يألفون ويؤلفون, you may get along, with this person, You feel some of these people, they are quite close to you. Here, if the student have a problem, he doesn't know this, or doesn't know how to pronounce this letter, or doesn't know the meaning of this verse, and he felt that his teacher, is very jalali, very majestic one, he cannot get along with him, he cannot even ask him, and he may pronounce this letter wrong, or interpret this verse, wrong, after the death of his sheikh, and for the rest of his life. And this is one way of not delivering the knowledge to the other, when you put a barrier between yourself and the others. And that's why this is, it is too difficult, to break the barriers, and keep the respect. It's not easy. You should have it as such. The teacher should be kind to whomever recites to him, welcoming him and well-mannered with him in accordance to his circumstances. Abu Harun al-Abdi, this is a successor, said, we would come to Abu Sa'id. He is famous narrator of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri. Abu Sa'id Khudri, one of the companion, this companion is of the group of the 7 companions who narrated more than 1,000 hadiths from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri has 1,170 hadiths narrated, So one of his students, he said, we would come to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, radiyallahu anhu, and he would say, welcome to the beneficiaries of the Messenger of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, people rely upon you, men will come to you from the earth regions to acquire religious knowledge. When they come to you, make them your concern. This is narrated by Tirmizi, Ibn Majah, and others. You see, بِأَبِي وَأُمِّي يَا حَبِيبي يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. He is concerned, about the student in his time and the student coming later on, the latest student, he instructed through his companion, how we should treat, how we should receive these people, And by this we'll say this is part of the tradition of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is remind me when a companion describing بِأَبِي وَأُمِّي, I haven't seen any teacher before or after him similar to him. You see, and he even raised up those which may be considered trivial point for some of us, he raised them up, and made wasiyah about them to his companion, for the people coming later on. Wasiyah. And that's why some of them, they used to say whenever they have some student, marhaba bi wasiyyati Rasulillah, as if how we do well or whatever. This was the will of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, wasiyah about those comers, that they are going to join this. Again, similar to it by Musnad al-Darimi, from Abu Darda. Here you have 2 companions, they touch upon this meaning one related to the Prophet ﷺ and the other one from his side, Sayyidina Abu Darda. Sincerity towards students. Okay. Sincerity towards students, that means you are the one who is responsible. Okay. I'm going to give you an example from my practice. I have very short time, and a lot of people. Usually, I have for everyone, 1 page of Qur'an. Wants to make khatam, and it's going to take him for more than 600, coming, to finish the Qur'an. Some of them, they ask me, please, I want to have 2 pages. For some, I said yes. For some, I said no. If I say yes, here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the best. If I say yes, just to make a lot of people, getting ijazah from me and write them in my record, and put it in the wall, to show everyone, those who got ijazah from me, I'm not sincere to them. I'm sincere to myself. Okay? If I said no, because I have been invited to breakfast, I'm going to finish quickly, and go eating, I'm not sincere to them. On the other hand, if I said yes for those who are really efficient, in their recitation, and it's just a time consuming, and you should give them some extra time, because nothing else, they don't need any other, correction or whatever. I should say yes. But when I feel that when they have 2 pages, they are going to compromise, or the memory is going to be a little weaker, or their style of recitation is going to get weaker, my sincerity to them, that you shouldn't have 2 pages. 1 page is enough for you. You see? Even though the student may be eager, Why come? Well, this person is not fair, He let 3 or 4 persons, who are not better than me. Usually the student not look at anyone better than him, They are not better than me, They will let them, he will let them, recite 2 pages, but he will not let me recite 2 pages. Why? Okay, and here we have this problem, and the teacher may get this problem. And one of the major problems, I suffer a lot of it, that, you see, we are human, we are weak. Some person, I may not like his voice. Yeah, I'm speaking openly with you. I may not like his voice, or the way he recite. I tell myself, listen, those matters has nothing to do with tajweed class. These are personal preference. You shouldn't make them affect your decision. You see this point? Here, what I'm trying to tell you, don't be just specific about this point. Since the teaching of the Qur'an is going to be mixed with our feeling, with my personality, with my emotion, with what I have ate yesterday, yes, how sleepy I am now, and you name it, all of these factors, they are going to affect me. Okay? And you have the other factors of excellency, of making these people, excellent reciters of Qur'an. And you are the poor person, you are stuck in the middle. And in many occasions, you are going to have overlap. You should repeat it. Why did you say you should repeat it? Because you did not like the voice? Or because you did not like the style of the person? Or because you are tired? or because of this, or because you got sleepy, or because of this, or because of that, or because that person, you expect him to have much better, pronunciation, and you want him to repeat. You see this point? And you don't look at it as an easy one. Really, I suffer a lot of it. Okay? I tell myself all the time, I may get over the problem many times, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. Because by this, I honestly am going to tell you, if I am taken away of this, without any reward, just to be safe, this good news for me, okay? Because I have a lot of interference, okay? And all of those interference, here, Sayyidina al-Imam al-Nawawi highlighted it. Sincerity towards student, not toward yourself, okay? Yani are going to advise this student, firstly for Qur'an, and secondly for any other matter. You may tell him, so and so, you are memorizing Qur'an, how come you did not pray duha? Not farad. You see, here you should give advice about other matters, but this comes secondary. The primary one, to be sincere for them, for the aim, the purpose they came to you. They did not come to you to tell them about duha or about fiqh or whatever. You may, in some circumstances, speak about them when you feel that it's needed for this person because you are sincere to him, But we should put at the top and make full recognition, about what is the most important in the interest of that person when he came to learn Qur'an. That's why anything related to personal matters, I work hard on myself to avoid influencing the others. I give you another example, Wuquf. You have some student will stop here, the other will stop. You see, you have some long verses. In this long verse, you have different choices of stopping or stop sign. Some of them may stop here. Personally, I hate this stop a lot. I don't like this stop. But I know that in some books they mention that this is good stop, I'm not going here to interfere, say, you shouldn't stop here. Okay? This is my personal taste, okay? I'm not going to give my personal taste to the other. Let them enjoy, let them build their personality. Let them build their personality, with the Qur'an. This shouldn't be a duplicate of my personality. They should have their own way, of learning and understanding. We should stop here, inshallah. This is not hated stop, this is good stop.